All right, we should be recording now. So first off, I'm just going to say that if we could keep our mics muted, we are going to allow questions during the webinar, just so we can make sure that we answer those all where they pertain. However, if you do have a question, either put it in the chat or raise your hand icon on Microsoft Teams so no one's talking over each other, okay? So, as you guys know, my name is Taylor Zortman. I am the Public Transportation Program Administrator here at KDOT.
I'm Sarah Stewart. I am the Program Consultant here at KDOT.
I'm Renee Hart. I'm the Public Transportation Manager.
All right. So I figured we'd start off by giving a brief overview of our programs, just for those who are new, who are joining us here on our webinars today. So we are going to have the applications open for two programs, our 5311 General Public Transportation Program for rural areas. This is open for the general public. It is a first come, first serve. You cannot prioritize by trip purpose or trip type. Or by your own clients. You do apply based on the budget that you are estimating you need, and we will evaluate based on available funding and the need that your transportation agency might have. The other program we have today is our 5310 Specialized Transportation for the elderly and disabled. This can be for rural and urban areas. This has a much smaller budget. You either get $10,000 in KDOT funding or $20,000 in KDOT funding based on the vehicles you have in the program. That is less than 10 gets the 10,000. 10 or more can apply to up to 20,000. And this one you can prioritize based on your own clients. It is for the elderly and disabled or specialized transportation. So if we have any questions on the program, go ahead and ask those now. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and we are going to turn it over to Renee to go over a little bit of BlackCat basics.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. All right, so on the organization overview page in BlackCat, this is where all of your information pertaining to your contact information, your system characteristics, your hours, and your fares are kept. And we would like you to please make sure that all of this information is correct. For those of you who are current BlackCat users, those of you who will be applying that are not currently in our program, you will be given a user ID to have access to this grant management system. So at the top, the organization information, the little edit button, so that's where you can edit your contact information, your email. You'll also notice that there are different types of contact types in there, where it says primary contact. Sorry. That's in the contact types there. So you want to make sure that all of those are correctly marked for your contacts. And we do pull this information for various reports and needs. So it is important that it is kept up to date. We want to make sure that if we need to be reaching out to you, that we have the right persons, that information can get to you. In the application, you will, on the checklist, you will be able to check off that these have been reviewed and that they are accurate.
I would have a quick question in the chat of, do we have slides? I'm assuming it's in regards to BlackCat. We do have a PowerPoint on the specifics of how BlackCat works. We're just doing a quick overview today.
We verify that everybody can see Taylor's screen that shows BlackCat. there isn't any slides per se for this presentation, but you should be able to see the screen as we walk through.
Yes, Heather.
I was just gonna say, yes, I can see the screen.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay.
So, Sarah's gonna, go ahead.
Yeah, so the BlackCat PowerPoint that we can send out, that is going to be the general information on BlackCat, going over the dashboard, the organizations, and all of these, including reporting. That is not going over the application itself. That is mainly what today's webinar is about. But I will have that up along with the recordings from Tuesday's webinar and today's webinar up on the website. And as I go through those, I will be pulling any questions out and making a Q&A. All right, Sarah?
Perfect. All right. So time to start the application. We are going to the application tab on the top that you just clicked. You're going to find your agency.
They'll already have.
Yeah, it's already pulled up, and you're just going to click apply. Here is the application form. So this is all your forms that we're requiring or optional, as you can see down below. We'll get further into that as we go along. And this is just a breakdown of everything that we need. And next would be the projects.
Okay. So part of your application is you will need to create a project for every single application that you or every part of the application you are wanting. So for the 5310, you are eligible for operating and admin assistance. Those are two separate projects. You will have to create a project for each. For 5310s, you're only eligible for operating assistance. And then, of course, there's always capital assistance that you can request, and those are eligible on both applications. So if you are applying for both programs, you will need to create at least two operating projects. So I'll go ahead and we will start by adding a project here. So we will be doing this for state fiscal year 26. However, for our purposes of this application, we are actually, the test application is on state fiscal year 2010, just so we can keep it separate from the rest of the applications. Your stimulus funds should always be no. If you do click yes on this, it will not pull correctly when it goes into the application. So please click no on stimulus funds. The FTA line item codes. So when you pull these up, there is going to be this top part. These are your favorites. These are what the state of Kansas mostly uses. There is a full list of line item codes, and those are mostly used by other states. So for our purposes, we're mostly going to stay in this favorites area. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you how to make an operating project. And for that, I'm going to click on operating, federal share 50%. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to estimate that we're going to be requesting about $500,000 for our project today. All right, so that 500,000 in the project details does not mean that we have requested it yet. So to actually make the request, as you can see, it's still 0 over here. I'm going to click select. And then I'm going to have to go line item by line item. So your project income is what you expect your fares to be. And this takes it right off the top of your application. So if I say I'm expecting to get $20,000 in fare revenue throughout the entire fiscal year, then I'm going to, and I think that I'm going to need $500,000 altogether. I'm going to need to make sure I request at least $520,000 in expenses. Go ahead and put some random numbers in here so we can. Okay. So you can see I've requested $520,000. I'm thinking I'm getting about 20,000 in fair revenue. And so my total request for state fiscal year 26 is going to be 500,000. And this is my 100% amount. So this is going to be further broken down into federal shares, state shares, and local shares. Once I have that, I'm going to click save. And then there is my request. Sarah?
All right. Next up, we're going to be looking at how to attach this project that you just made to your application. So you're going to go back to the application tab. You scroll down past the grant opportunities after we get it pulled up. There we go. So after the application forms, if you scroll down, you can attach the project right there. If you click it, you're going to see your projects show up. You're going to click your project and press attach. And everything should be able to make sure to double check it, please, that all of it has pulled through correctly.
And if you are wondering how much local match you will need, it will tell you the local match for each project here. If you add those up, your local match letter should be at least equal to all of these items added together or more. So let's go ahead and we are going to start on our application forms. So right off the bat, right here, we have the application link and the checklist. If you click download, it is going to download your application link here. So this is what the application is actually going to be on, and it is really big. There we go. So we are going to start with what the application, the main application, it's going to be on Qualitrix. So last year we tried to do this on Microsoft Forms. There was a lot of issues with using Microsoft Forms. So this year we have moved it into Qualitrix. Now Qualitrix, it's a lot better in the way that you guys can collaborate. So you're not only is your progress saved and you can leave and come back to it later, but we can get you the link to your specific application that you can share it with others in your organization and work together on your application as well. And then your 5311 and your 5310 application is all going to be on the same Qualitrix form. There's going to be the main information at the top, and then it'll branch off into the sections at the bottom for your 5311 or your 5310, depending on what you're applying for, or both if you are applying for both. And that way there's less duplication of information. There will be some duplicate questions, but they're generally the ones that have different answers depending on your program, such as the counties served. Because some, let's say your 5310 might only serve one county, whereas you might branch out and serve multiple counties with your 5311 service. So those are the questions that might be duplicative within the application, just because they tend to have different answers depending on your which application you're working on. At the end, you will get a copy of your answers emailed to you from Qualitrix. And in that email, if you just save that email, that is what you are going to be uploading to your application here in BlackCat. So that just tells us that you have completed the Qualitrix application. So you'll click this and it'll bring up your application here. So oops, I am about 50% started here. It does recognize your IP address. So it will let you go ahead and save your progress. But let's see. There we go. So here's the beginning of the application. I'm just going to say I'm an existing agency. If you are a new start, it will just ask you what your agency name is. They're not much the questions themselves aren't much different. But for an existing agency, it'll come with this drop-down list. All of these are what your legal agency name in BlackCat is currently listed as. So we'll just click one. If you have a DBA name that's different from your legal name, then you can go ahead and put it here. However, your legal agency name should be what is registered with the Secretary of State if you are required to register with the Secretary of State, or what you put on your W-9 form as your legal agency name. All right, so then it's going to ask for your street address. These will, like your state and your postal code, it is verifying that information. So these must be legal or valid states and postal codes. It will check for those. Your point of contact email, it is checking to make sure that it is a valid email address. And then here are these checkboxes that Renee was talking about earlier. So what you're saying here by checking these is that you have checked BlackCat and organization information, and all of these are up to date. Okay. And then onto your sam.gov information, it's going to ask for your UEI number. If you don't know, I have sam.gov linked here. The name of the sam.gov registration. So this is probably going to be your agency name. However, I do know that cities and counties sometimes share their registrations over the organizations. So I'm just asking just in case it might not be what we have listed on BlackCat. And then the sam.gov registration expiration date. So this does need to be in month, day, year fashion. It will flag it if it's not in this format. So I would go ahead and just make sure you put it in that format right off the bat. And then of course it's going to ask for your type of agency, your CTD. And I went ahead and I listed all the CTDs here. If you are a new start and you do not know your CTD information, feel free to go ahead and email us, and we will let you know. And then some of you guys may recognize these names. These are the current CTD administrators for your CTD. I went ahead and put these here just in case you are unsure who in your CTD is the current administrator, but you might recognize their name anyway. These are in order. So Heather's from CTD1, Jan's from CTD2, Justina CTD3, and so on and so forth, all the way to 10. And then there's some insurance information. These are just basic questions. I'm not going to go into too much detail here yet. So just going to go ahead and run through some of these questions. Some of these questions, they do have additional questions that will be asked if you answer them a certain way. So some of you may have slightly longer applications than others, just based on your answers. For questions like this, this matrix here, you do not have to answer all of these to move on. You just have to have some kind of answer in there. So if you just put NA on the first line, it'll bring up saying that, hey, there's some unanswered information, and you can continue without answering, and it will save what information you already have. All right. So We are almost through the main portion here. All right, and then it will come to this screen. So this is going to be where you start branching off into different applications based on the program that you are applying for. So whichever one of these you answer, and you can answer, or you can pick multiple, these will give you or unlock an application for you. So if I click general public, I'm going to get that. But if I do not click it, then I will not get that portion of the application, and so forth. And again, you can click multiple of these if you are applying for multiple programs.
Hey, Taylor, quick question.
Mhm.
We got one popped up by Sue here. If you are applying for 53, 10, and 11 and have different SAM UEIs for each,
Oh.
can both numbers be listed, and how will you know which application the UEI is for?
That is a interesting question. I don't think I've ever come across that.
Yeah.
Do we track both of our UBIs?
I only have one.
Okay. Okay, so if you can go ahead and if you are applying for both programs, go ahead and put your 5311 into the Qualtrics application. And then along with your
I'll have you go ahead and email me with the second one and we'll take care of it from there.
yes, we actually have a screenshot of the SAM.gov registration that is going to be required, and you'll go ahead and for each of your programs, when applications, you'll go ahead and you'll put each of them in. So like this one's for your 5311 application, you put your attach your 5311 registration. And then for the other one, you attach your 5310 registration. And then if you could just email us so we know to look out for both of them, that would be great. Okay. Is there any other questions?
Nope. Sue got it.
Okay. And so that is the Qualtrics, or the general information section. The rest of this is mostly going to be additional uploads.
Yes. So go a little back to SAM.gov and the W-9. Please try to make everything you can match your legal name. It's so much easier to track and so much easier for us to easily identify things that need to get done. So please fill out your W-9, and then also the same with your SAM.gov. Make sure you screenshot that. The SAM.gov, both attachments, if you can go back out real quick, you'll see that there is a download that she's clicking on. All these, either like W-9 had the W-9 form, and for the SAM.gov, it has a breakdown of how to screenshot your SAM.gov. And if you don't have one or you don't know what it is, here at the bottom, it has the SAM.gov links for you to be able to step-by-step process to be able to do that. And as a reminder, SAM.gov is free. If it asks you for any kind of payment or money, it is a scam. It's a scam. Thank you. It's a scam. So it is something that is free. So please get that uploaded and screenshotted, and that'd be amazing.
Piece extra.
You're good.
Thanks off.
Okay, now we're on to certifications and assurances. These are what we call certs and assurances that have to be signed every year with your application. And if you are currently in our program and have a vehicle, but you are not applying for any operating funds, you will still need to go into BlackCat and complete your certificates and assurances for the vehicles that you have. So, as Taylor's strolling through here, these have not changed with the exception of the TAM certification. This is our Transit Asset Management certification. So KDOT is the we sponsor a group TAM plan for all of our rural providers if they elect to be a part of that. If you are not a part of our group TAM plan, then you would have to complete your own TAM plan and you would be responsible for keeping it up to date. That's mostly for our urban areas that elect to do that. For all the rural areas that I know of, they are all part of our group TAM plan. And by checking that box there, you are acknowledging that you are part of our group plan and you're certifying that you accept our goals that are in TAM.
Is that TAM part of 5310 at all?
No, I'm sorry. Yes, this is just for 5311 agencies. Thank you for that out.
Thank you.
So this is our TAM plan. It lists all of the vehicles and all of our facilities, the ratings, and this is what we use when we award vehicles. It's a way that we prioritize the needs for replacements. That's that certification. The other one, this EEO program submission certification, this is new. All agencies are required to comply with EEO for posting information on the program and making it available to your employees. But depending on how many transit employees you have in your agency, there are additional requirements. If you have more than 100 or more transit related employees and you receive a request $1 million or more in capital operating assistance, as you see above, you are responsible for having a full EEO program. If you have between 50 and 99 transit related employees, then you are responsible for developing and maintaining a limited EEO program. And so we are using this here to collect information from our agencies on how many employees they have so that we are aware which ones are responsible for submitting those EEO plans and programs. And if your agency is, we would need you to upload that EEO plan or program as part of your application, and it would go down below in the active documents.
Real quick, we have a question in the chat from Heidi. Just a clarification. So 5310 agencies no longer are part of the TAM, or they aren't required to have a TAM?
The 5310 agencies do not need to be included in the TAM plan. But as part of the group TAM plan, we include all of the 5310 vehicles. It's just that you do not have to certify that you are part of it.
Perfect. All right. Local match letter and labor forms. So we kind of have a nice outline for you guys to kind of based off of fill in as needed, any agency, your agency name, address and such. And this is a good format for any kind of local match you get. The amount that they are willing to do and the source. So again, this is a nice little downloaded, yeah, that too. So this is a nice little downloaded file again, that you can change what you need to change on it and be able to just resubmit it that way.
It's not required for you to use our format,
Yeah.
but if you would like, you can.
Okay, cool. So for the labor form, you are required top part. However, when you get down to the service area and the service public transit providers, please fill in if you have that, but I know some cases you don't. If that is the case, please put NA. That way we at least know, have seen it and acknowledged it. Just to make sure that something didn't actually get missed.
There's your
Okay, now we're on to the auditor's report. We request that you upload your last completed audit Some agencies have 1 or 2 year audits, and just whatever your most recent audit is, just upload that document. If you are not sure if your agency requires an audit, or you do not have one that has been done the last couple of years, please reach out to us so that we can determine what the appropriate documentation should be uploaded in lieu of that audit.
All right. Your CTD letter of good standing. This is something that you receive from your CTD. If you do not know what we are talking about, please reach out to your CTD to ask for this letter. And if there's any questions about it, you can always reach out to us as well. And then the current letters of support from the local units of government. This is different from the CTD letter. This is from somebody within your community, within your government, saying, hey, we need this transportation and we like this transportation, just something that's, you have support from your community to have that public transportation.
I'd like to go back on the CTD letter of good standing. If you as an agency know that you are not going to be in good standing prior to submitting your application or as soon as possible, if you could reach out to your CTD and let them know so that they can take appropriate action to get you back in good standing if appropriate.
Thank you.
Because if you wait and we receive your application and you have a letter of not in good standing, then it ties up the award. I want to make sure that that is taken care of as soon as possible.
Yes, Heather. Please.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, how does the CTD do that?
So if somebody is not in good standing, they would have to be put on the roster for the next CTD meeting. What they were going to have to do is they're going to have to submit a plan of action to basically say why they are not in good standing currently, and how they are going to rectify that for the future. So if they're unable to make the meetings, are they going to have a backup person for the meetings? Are they going to nominate somebody else within their agency to make the meetings instead of the person who was doing them before? Some kind of corrective action plan is needed, and that needs to be submitted to KDOT and to the CTD itself. Then they will go ahead and they will present this at the CTD meeting, and the CTD will have to vote to reinstate their good standing.
Wow, that's never happened before. Is this new?
It is not new, and it has happened. I just don't believe it's happened in CTD 1.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just not familiar. Thank you.
This status of good standing with the CTD, it is required by the legislature as part of our state funding that we receive. So it's something that needs to be taken seriously.
Oh, I agree. I just wasn't aware of the process. Thank you.
All right. So from there, the next item is the published public notices. So the 5311 agencies are required to submit a public notice of operating assistance and DBE or disadvantaged business enterprise. And 5310s and 11s, if they are applying for capital, are also required to submit public notices for capital assistance. If you click the download here, it will bring up copies of templates. And all you have to do if it wants to load, maybe, and these are also available on our website. And my computer is being very slow today. There we go. So we have templates here and on our website. for these public notices. If you are unsure how to format them, you'll just need to go in and make sure that you fill in the blanks and make sure the years are correct for these public notices. And like I said, 5311s are required to submit one for operating and for DBE. And 5310 and 11s are required to submit capital if they are applying for capital. And these have to be submitted and in the newspaper for 2 weeks.
I do remember the question about it. Does it have to be a newspaper?
So that
Yes, I guess at the last session, there was a question about whether it had to be published in a local newspaper, as a lot of communities no longer have a local newspaper or it's not published on a regular basis. At this time, it is still required that it is in a circulation, a local circulation of a newspaper. And so for now, that is the requirement.
All right. And so once you submit that to a newspaper, what they're going to do is they're going to give you back kind of like a written certification that they are going to publish it. Those need to be attached here along with a copy of the newspaper clipping. All right. So list of our top trainings for all drivers. So we give you this table here. You do not need to upload all the certifications. If you just list the drivers and all of their trainings here, that is fine. If we need the certifications, our tab does have all of those on file, and we have access to that. Just to make it easy on you, if you just want to list them out, that is perfectly okay. So all we need is this table here.
All right. So the vehicle preventative maintenance plan.
I think this one did love last time.
I remember quick.
I'll get it for next, or I'll get it for later.
Cool. We're having wonderful issues.
Yeah.
Okay. I do want to preface by saying this is an example. It's not how you have to do it in this way, but this is a good example of what we're looking for. We do not want to see your vehicle manuals. We do not want to see your past maintenance. We do want to see what you're going to do in the future and the acknowledgement of how you're going to keep up your vehicle's maintenance for this next upcoming year. As you can see, there's like every 12 months, every 100,000. So you don't need to have specific dates, but you do need to have basically showing us an idea of how you're keeping up these vehicles for your vehicle maintenance plan.
So this is an example from one of our agencies that has that nice TLDR here on page 1, and then it goes into detail here. This is not required, of course, but Katie over at Olson is kind enough, and she took this example and she's created a template for you if you would like to use it. And again, you're not required to, but I will be getting with Katie, and that template will be attached to your the application if you would like to use it. If you could mute your.
I just did.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, yeah. We muted ourselves somehow. Apologies.
Okay.
Okay, so with your application, we'll ask that you upload a copy of your advertising from June to October the previous year, or previous period through October, when you submit your application. And this is required for the 5311 agencies. And so, and for new starts, of course, you will not have that proof of advertising, so you would not have to upload that. And then the next item is your Title VI recertification. Your Title VI plans only have to be updated every 3 years, but we are asking that you recertify them, or that your board recertifies your Title VI plan annually. And basically, this just means that you're certifying that nothing major has changed, and that you are continuing to follow what is outlined in your Title VI plan. And then we are also asking that if you would please go ahead and upload your most current Title VI plan into your organization library. It can be there, and then you won't have to upload it annually. So this is a way that we're going to try to keep some of your documents that don't change year to year there in your organization library, so we have access to it and can make sure that we have what we need, but you don't have to upload those continually every application period. And so Taylor is showing here how to go ahead and upload that. So you would you're going to add a file, you're going to give it a name. Choose your file. And say that, and then it will show up underneath there in your root file of your current files. You can go in and you can add folders so that you can organize them more easily, and then they would be there and accessible for you as well whenever is needed. So
I don't have anything under my file.
yeah, I think we're down to
And
the last few.
So those files, they can be replaced at any time, 'cause like when we're updating those, or will you have to delete and?
no, you won't have to delete. If there's upload dates on those, so if we go through and okay, so it has an upload date. So what we can do is we can just look at the most recent upload. So let's say you create a Title VI folder. All your Title VI goes in here instead of in the regular. What we can do is we can just make sure, all we can do is make sure that we're looking at the most recent upload to look for your Title VIs. So we might be starting to do this with a couple of documents in the future that the information doesn't change. And so that's way you don't have to continuously every single year put them in your application. So the Title VI is one of those documents. It only has to be updated every 3 years, but currently you guys are uploading it once a year into your applications. This has been a request for a while to find a way to do that, to make sure that you guys don't have to do so much work every single year. But of course, to do that, we do have this year where we're going to be uploading everything into the organizational library. And so that is going to be an extra step this year, but you won't have to do that again next year.
Are you gonna have a list of all the different files you're gonna want in the organization library?
Eventually, when we come up with the full list of items that are going to be items that we would like in there, we will go ahead and we will release that list and request that you upload those documents.
Yeah, and I mean, you can upload them on your own too. Anything that you think would be helpful, or one thing that I can think of that the agencies would be helpful to have the agencies upload is their policy manuals or their writer handbooks. those types of documents, their articles of incorporation, if they have those that don't change.
Thank you.
Yes,
I'm on.
Rachel.
I'm just going back to the Title VI. You said it has to be recertified annually. So how do you require, I didn't catch it. There was like do we
Yes.
have to have a letter from the
So,
board saying they're recertifying it, or how does that work?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different things you can upload. One would be the meeting minutes from the board, or if you want to just get a letter from one of your board members saying that the board approves the document for this year, then that's also okay. So it's kind of up to you if you have the meeting minutes or if you just want to get a letter from a board member.
Okay, thank you.
So many. Okay, there we go. All right. And then these are the optional uploads down here. They're marked in blue. The first one is the Articles of Incorporation or a letter of good standing from the Secretary of State. This is for non-government entities only. This is because government entities don't have to register, and so they aren't going to be in the database. If you are unsure how to get this, an easy way is just to go and look up the Kansas Secretary of State business search. If you come down here, it'll say business search, and then you don't even have to put in the full name of your agency if you're unsure what it's registered as. I don't think I had to do this last time, did I?
You did.
And then it'll bring up every business in Kansas that is registered with those with that name. So I put community health, and of course, again, that is a bad example just because there are 4 pages of agencies with the name community health somewhere in them. But you can look that up, and then if you select the business, it'll tell you, hey, they're in good standing. This one's actually dissolved. So again, a bad example. But this is also where you'll see their the address that is their primary address as registered with the Secretary of State, and was probably should be on your W-9 as well. And again, I just picked the worst example by selecting the random one that's dissolved. Forfeited, active and good standing. Let's go with this one. So this one is active and in good standing. It's the Atchison Community Health Clinic. This is their primary address, and this is what should probably be registered on their W-9 form, and what should probably be in BlackCat. Right? And so if you just get like a screenshot of this, you don't have to purchase the certificate. We just want to know it's active and good standing. So if you just want to use the snipping tool, I'm okay with you just taking a screenshot of this and uploading that instead of actually purchasing any kind of certification.
With the date. With that.
Yeah, if you could go ahead and make sure you get the date stamp in the corner when you're doing that. Okay. That'll save you guys a little bit of money too. The next is the letter of authority for authorized signers. So this is a template that we have, and this is for anybody who is not a CEO, president, director, mayor, or other authorized official that is able to make decisions on behalf of the organization. So if you are doing the application on behalf of somebody who's making these decisions, they can give you the power to sign for them by submitting this letter. But you do not need this letter if you already have the authority to make decisions on behalf of your organization. Okay, and then the last one is a certification of completed RTAP training for transit managers. So this is something new that is coming out. It is transit manager training for what we have set up for new employees coming in that don't know the program. They don't know BlackCat. They don't know. So it's basically a module by module training that RTAP is coming out with, and it has 2 to 3 questions per module. What we're doing is we're going to allow the transit managers who have been here for a while, they know the program inside and out. We're going to allow them to test out and upload their certification here. Now, the reason we have this as an optional item instead of a required item is because RTAP is in the process of posting it, but it's not currently posted. And we do not want to hold up your application if it's not posted in time for you to actually have the time to go through it. So it will be required. We just don't want to hold your application up.
And this RTAP training for transit managers, it will replace the current RTAP transit manager training that's on their website. And it's just broken down in shorter snippets or shorter times so that managers can go in at their convenience and work through it at their own pace instead of it being a webinar held event. So, and this is good for a refresher for those who have been in the program for a while, but also a good way to bring new employees up to speed. And then also those who are considering becoming a part of our program who, just so they know what's going to be required of them if they are awarded.
Okay. All right, so after you attach all of these gray checks will become green. If all of these are green and you have projects uploaded, you will be able to submit. You can see my submit button is grayed out now. It will become usable as soon as all requirements are met. And again, that you have to have at least one project attached, and you have to have all of your required documents uploaded before it will allow you to submit. Do we have any questions on the application?
Yes, Rachel.
Mine goes back to the projects. The administrative project, what exactly does that entail, or what can you submit for that? I've never done it before, but I'm interested in knowing what it's for.
Okay, yes. So if we go ahead and do for 2010, no stimulus funds. And then we have the project administration for agencies. Just going to say $2,000. So this is what it looks like. It's slightly different. It has transit manager time, and this is for one transit manager, office supplies, copies, postage, and other not specified. And this will require additional documentation, just like the other options on the operating report. All of that is now recorded on Qualtrics. So I do have a section for you to explain your other on Qualtrics for both your operating and your admin. If you are curious, if you go to our website, you'll see the Public Transportation Policy Manual. If you click on that, you should be able to control F, and let's see. I think this is a good keyword to use. Maybe not. Operating reimbursement. There we are. Page 24. We're on page 11.
There you go.
23. Oh, yep. So there's the operating reimbursement and then the admin reimbursement. These also, if you have already seen my PowerPoint, I have a list of like common expenses that are eligible under admin other, but I also have a list of things that are commonly put on there but are ineligible and have to be taken off quite frequently. So I will go ahead and with the with the videos for this application, I'm also going to be reposting that BlackCat PowerPoint for you guys. So you should have that as well. As well as I'm going to be making an FAQ out of the questions that were answered today and on Tuesday.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
There's a question in the chat about the EO. Can you go back to the EO form?
I can definitely do that. Gosh, I keep staying on 2025. There we go.
It's trying to be helpful.
Okay, so number 6.
6 and 7.
6 and 7. So this just lets us know, you as an agency, how much you received in capital or operating assistance. And this is related to the above, which you scroll up, Taylor. So the two thresholds there is the number of employees, and the other is how much you have received or requested in operating or capital expenses. So this is FTA funds.
Does that answer your question, Shane?
Okay, good.
All right. Any other questions? Okay.
I'm not saying that.
So we are going to be sending out an email kind of going over the basics. It's the same email you guys get every year before the applications get posted. The applications will be up on October 3rd. So we will have that available for you. And then they close November 21st. That's the Thursday before Thanksgiving at 3:00 p.m. Please make sure that you are, if you have questions, you're not waiting till the last minute. I am going to be on the phone probably constantly that day, so I might not get to you if you wait till the last minute. So I would just urge you to maybe do this, at least try to see if you can finalize it the week before, so that way you have time to ask any additional questions that you may have.
We did get one. Could we also have agencies review their information on Kansas Ride's website?
Yeah, while you're reviewing your information in BlackCat, why don't you hop onto the Kansas Rides website and check that information as well, just so that it is consistent, it's updated. Our TAP annually goes through and tries to make sure that that information is updated, but it'd be a good idea if you could go ahead and let them know if changes need to be made.
And the link was also posted in the chat too, if you need a direct route to that Kansas Rides.
Right. So if we don't have any more questions today, I don't see any more questions.
How do you get on the list for training?
So that would, for the manager training, I'm assuming that's what you're asking about, and that would be on the KURTAP's website and their learning management system, where the rest of their training is located. And we'll provide a link.
Yeah. So Kara is really good about adding links to the training page on Slack. So if you go on Slack, you should be able to see the most recent driver training, deficient driver training. And then I'll have her go ahead and I will have her post the manager training on here as well.
And then when do applications open?
October 3rd. So coming up here real quick.
How do you get on email list for today's training?
We are using the most up-to-date point of contact list we have. If you guys have changed your point of contact recently, please let us know. You should be updating your organization information in BlackCat as often as possible. And I go through about every 2 months to make sure I do have the most up-to-date point of contact email. I do use what's up here in the organization information. So just please be making sure this is the most up-to-date. If you would like to have an additional person, I have started adding an extra column in my Excel document for secondary emails. You just need to email me and make sure that you CC or add that email to the contact list. But when it comes to anything that is like an email merge, I can only use the one email per agency. So there's going to be a main point of contact.
I am putting the link to the learning management, RTAP's learning management system, so that you can go on there to find all the training opportunities.
And then I did post, if you have any questions or concerns, I did post the email of the KDOT transit inbox. In case you find out you have further questions on things, that's also a good way to contact us.
Remember, there's 2 T's. It's KDOT transit.
Yes. They're not combined.
All right. Last chance for questions.
For now, you can ask questions later, but
Yeah.
for this training.
For this training, yes. Please be aware there's always Slack. We do have this applications questions that will be open, so that way we can go ahead and we can start those conversations. If you have questions, it is very likely that somebody else has the same question. So go ahead and post it, and if anybody knows the answer, please go ahead and answer that, and everyone will get the same answer that way.
We do check up on Slack, so if there is any misinformation, we do straighten it out.
All right. And if that is all for the questions, thank you guys for joining us today, and you guys have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Stop recording.